We will be covering all the important events that happened this last week in Auburn, Washburn. So listen up and get ready to hear all that's gone on here on the Blues News.
At the end of last week, the Kansas Senate passed a new legislation that will affect all students in Auburn-Washburn School District. In a bipartisan effort, the Senate passed a ban on students being able to use cell phones during school hours, requiring students to have their cell phones turned off and stored away. Legislators have said that the new law is an attempt to address recent research findings that constant phone usage by teenagers has an adverse effect on their education and mental health. We will follow the story in the coming weeks to see how this legislation will be implemented by the Auburn-Washburn School District.
Spring break is happening this week, which means sports will be back in full swing when we get back. Congrats to all the student athletes who are preparing for the next 3 months of sports and taking on very tough schedules. With the topic of schedules, parents, the Washburn Rural Athletics page is currently down and will be until further notice. This is due to the transfer of authority over the page, and the proper fix has not been found up to this point. However, a way to find your athlete's schedule has been found. Go to the browser and type in WRHS Athletics and find the page that says Sports. Washburn Rural High School. Scroll down to the spring sports and click it. Then click on the child's coach and the level of playing to find a PDF of the schedule. From athletes here at Washburn Rural High School, thank you, parents and friends, for all of your support.
Our unified sports team took on the bocce ball tournament on Saturday, February 28th. The team has been practicing every day during advisory, with time to get ready for this game. The kids have been focusing on improvement, technique, and most importantly, they have been having fun. Kenzie Maddox is a senior helper who has been involved with Unified since freshman year. Unified Sports has taught me that everyone deserves an opportunity, not just to compete, but an opportunity to challenge themselves. There is no limit I can place on my friends with special needs, as I have watched them step up to difficulties with joy and courage. They are truly the most incredible people I know. As for me, Unified Sports has taught me so much about myself as a person. It has sparked a passion in me that has led me to pursue a degree in occupational therapy. Most importantly, it has taught me that leadership is not about authority, leadership is about presence and patience.
There has been some exciting things happening in the music department recently. Here is Zach Schneider to tell you all about it.
This past week, members of our music department traveled down to Wichita to perform at KMEA as some of the state's best musicians. This year, Rule broke records, sending 12 of our own students, with 4 of those being from the same instrument.
We had a trumpet player. We were the only school with a trumpet player in every single group, like one in jazz, one in band, and one in orchestra. And that's the second year in a row that that's happened.
They called us Trumpet University because we had every trumpet in the district jazz band. Was Washburn Rural trumpets.
It takes a lot of extra time. I mean, it'd be a lot easier to just say, nah, not for me. I don't want to do that. It's bad enough I got to memorize my marching band show. I got to worry about auditions for wind ensemble, symphonic band, concert band, jazz band. Now you're telling me I need to work on these 6 to 10 excerpts in addition to that aren't easy by any stretch. They're professional level stuff. So it says a lot.
Rarely ever went a day without practicing over like an hour and a half, 2 hours. You know, it's just like I set a goal for myself kind of like sophomore, junior year, and this was my last year to do it, and I wanted it, so I just kind of went for it.
I think it says that our department rises to the occasion, and we are full of students who are hardworking and care about the craft of music, whether that be in orchestra, whether that be in band, whether that be in choir. It shows that we have students who care, and it also shows that we have incredible teachers who put in the time to help us to succeed and to challenge us with difficult college-level music that not a lot of high schoolers are doing.
From the end of February to the end of March, art from students ranging from kindergarten to 12th grade across Kansas is being showcased at the Topeka Public Library. Each Kansas art teacher chose one student from their school to showcase. Washburn Rural has 3 students' art at the exhibit. This show is to celebrate the talent and vision of the next generation of artists. K-12 students from all over the state of Kansas share their artwork in this exhibit organized by the Kansas Art Educators Association.
It's time for this week's Teacher Spotlight, where we will recognize outstanding teachers in our school. Here's Cole McKnight with more.
Teacher Spotlight will give a shine to teachers around the school. This week's Teacher Spotlight is shown to Frau Barber. Frau Barber, our German teacher, has done a great job with creativity and bringing something new to the classroom every day.
So how do you make your class very creative? I really like to get to know my students so that I can tailor my classes towards them and hopefully get into their interests, get to know them really well so that I can have fun with them. I usually think back to what I had fun with when I was learning German and try to use those as well. And I try to just keep evolving them every year to meet my students' needs.
How do you make sure students can come back and learn something new every day?
Very good. So what I usually do is I try to build off of things. We start off very slow, and then the next day we build on a little bit more, and after that we just keep building on. I usually try to put in random things to challenge my students, to kind of throw them off guard. I also try to bring things back from previous chapters or units, just to make sure that I keep them on their toes. I like to involve a lot of current events as well, and so it's always evolving. They're learning about things from Germany, from Austria, from the US, from the German perspective, and so forth.
So my last question is, why should students consider learning German?
Students should definitely consider learning a language. Whether it's German or not is kind of up to the student. Learning a language is very valuable for a lot of reasons. It gives you a perspective of your own culture. It gives you a perspective of what language learning is like. It makes you think about things in a different way. It makes you reflect upon English and how you talk. It gives you the opportunity to look into a different culture and also kind of think about what you like about other cultures, what you like about your culture. And it can just be a lot of fun. It's a class where you're up, moving around, talking to people, getting to know people. And in general, learning a language just opens doors for you, for your career.
Thank you, Frau Barber, for being such an amazing teacher. Tune in next week for Teacher Spotlight.
Thank you so much for tuning in this week on the Blues News.
Stay tuned for sports with Isaac Ainsley and Peyton Goring on the AW 437 Sports Talk. Have a great spring break, and we'll see you when we get back.
Tonight on AW 437 Sports Talk, big performances on the hardwood, major moments in the pool, and battles on the mat that lived up to the hype. From buzzer beaters in basketball to record-setting swims to hard-fought wins in wrestling, we've got everything you need to know. This is where scores meet stories, highlights meet analysis, and the biggest moments get the spotlight they deserve. No fluff, just the facts, the breakdowns, and the plays everyone's talking about. You're watching AW 437 Sports Talk. Let's get started.
Welcome to AW 437 Sports Talk. Tonight we've got a full lineup of Rural Sports. Washburn Rural girls basketball team is coming off an impressive 60-32 win over Wichita South this past Tuesday, clinching a spot in the Sub-State Championship tonight against Derby. Some impressive performances in state wrestling as both teams wrap up their season, and we've got the latest updates on boys bowling and a little preview of spring sports as they started this past Monday. First, we go to Rhiannon and Cole as they recap state men's and women's wrestling.
Washburn Rural boys wrestling was very promising this year as two of our athletes won state. Jaden Baum in the 215 weight class and Landon Coker-Munoz in the 144 weight class, making him a 3-time state champion. We had 12 total state qualifiers and ended with 9 standing on the podium this weekend, such as seniors Ryder Harrison, Cooper Stivers, and Brenner Benege. Junior Brody Coker-Munoz, sophomore Caden Marshall, and freshmen Andrew Peterson and Hayden Brocksterman joined them as well. The team placed 3rd overall behind Manhattan and Mays. What an amazing season from the Junior Blues, and thank you to our seniors.
Moving on to girls wrestling, who had a season better than expected, placing 3rd at state behind Gardner Edgerton in Garden City. Having one of the youngest teams at state, finishing on the podium was improbable to some, but possible to them. 13 qualified for state, and 7 of them were standing on the podium. Notables such as seniors Lacey Middleton, Emmy and Maddie Blanco, and Elliot Smith, junior Lily Davis, and freshman Rael Ibanez and Aaliyah Tangpricha. A season doubted by many and shocking to most. Thank you to our seniors. We go back to Peyton and Isaac in the booth.
Junior Brecken Garrett shot a 739 three-game series to capture the individual championship in Tuesday's Class 6A Bowling Regional at Lawrence Royal Crest Lane, leading Washburn Rural as a team championship by a 3,614 and 3,440 margin over Manhattan. The Blues junior Andrew Farrar and Cody Spangler, a 12 from senior Parker Dixon, and 13th place finish from sophomore Zachary Hancock, while senior Jackson Keller shot a 576 to round out Washburn Rural lineup.
Washburn Rural girls also earned a team berth for next week's state tournament in Wichita, placing third behind Mill Valley and Centennial League rival Junction City with a score of 3,011. Junior Megan Glinka placed 8th in Wednesday's Class 6A Girls Bowling Regional at Lawrence, leading the Junior Blues to a state berth with a third-place finish. Rural Junior Megan Glinka tied 7th and placed 8th on a tiebreaker with 633 series, including games of 221 and 222. The Junior Blues also got a 12th place finish from Kinsey Lawson, while senior Cameron Aarons, freshman Peyton Lawson, senior Stella Gordon, and senior Ellen Austin rounded out Rural's lineup. Now on to girls basketball. Isaac.
Washburn Rural girls basketball is off to a Class 6A sub-state final after taking down Wichita South 60-32 at home Tuesday night. Wichita South jumped out to an early 5-1 lead to bring the Rural climbing back to tie it at 5 as senior Hallie Walker scored the first 5 for the Lady Blues. Rural freshman Brent Anderson nailed 2 3-pointers, and K-State commit Maddie Vickery put home jumpers as the Junior Blues advance grew to 5. The Lady Blues took a 35-18 lead into the break. Washburn Rural only needed 2 more points for the run clock in the fourth quarter and got it with 2 free throws at the 6:33 mark from Vickery, who finished with a game-high 18 points as the Lady Blues went on to improve to 16-8, while Rural will play Derby, who is 21-3 on Friday at 6 p.m.
On to the boys basketball things. Washburn Rural boys basketball came to an end this past Wednesday, which finished the season 11-12. They jumped out early to a 5-0 lead at Topeka High, but the Trojans rallied to a lead 18-13 by the end of the opening quarter. John Hoytel, the senior, kept Washburn Rural in the hunt with a game-high 24 points, including a 7 of 8 performance at the free throw line. Sophomore Brooks Ballard added 11 points for the Junior Blues with 3 3-pointers, but no other Rural players scored more than 6. Now, Isaac, spring sports starting here soon. As we were saying, started this past week. You want to talk baseball, obviously the ace for the Washburn Rural baseball team, talk some softball and track. Let's get started.
Yeah, baseball went to state for the first time since 2018, I would say. 2022, sorry. But first time in a while getting back to state, and I feel a lot of guys coming back, so we're hungry to get back. And softball finished second, trying to get back there and trying to win it all. Got a lot of people back for them too. Hoping to make a push. And track, got a lot of guys and girls back.
Drayden Chintrin,
that whole 400 meter relay, I would say.
4x4, yeah. Liam Morrison as well.
And great relay for them. Just overall great track team. They're hungry too. And Peyton, now on to you. You're obviously a good golfer on the golf team, girls soccer and tennis. Talk to me about that.
Yeah, obviously we finished 7th in the state tournament last year in golf. Want to improve on some stuff, compete for a Centennial League title. There's obviously great teams like Manhattan, Olathe West, Shawnee Mission East teams out there. But I think this season we're just really looking to improve on scores in the non-conference tournaments, like tournaments in Mission Hills Country Club that Shawnee Mission hosts. So looking forward to that. It should be a good season. And then girls soccer, obviously coming off a state championship. Lost a lot of seniors, Kate Hink, Destiny Higgs, some to name, but I think honestly they return a lot of seniors as well as Allie Schroeder, Emma Wong, just some names. So I would look for the girls soccer team to compete for another state title. And then on to boys tennis, a lot of people forget about the tennis team. I mean, they're led by a lot of great seniors, Dylan Willingham, Keegan Knutson, Kiefer O'Connor, some names to name. I mean, I think people really forget about how dominant they are, especially in the Centennial League. I think they're going to make a nice push in the state tournament. Also, Isaac, we had a state winner in boys bowling. Tell me about that.
Yeah, Cody Spangler finished the individual bowling state champ. He will go down as a Washburn Rural history for the bowling. Yeah, legend. Great guy, character, but big congrats to him, to Cody Spangler.
Yep, 6A state individual winner on the boys side of things. That's all we have here on AW 437 Sports Talk. We appreciate you tuning in. See you next time.